I saw in on French television recently the story of a lady in her late 60s, retired, who lives near Calais in France, near the port of Calais, where of course they've got huge issues with migrants trying to get over to the UK, and of course we had the Calais jungle as well. It's been an issue for a very long time, and she's one of the residents that lives near Calais, so she sees, rather than on a TV screen, she sees the actual physical reality of all this, the human side physically going on right near her home or outside her home. She's in her late 60s, I'd say, sort of like, I don't know, middle class, retired lady who now has the title in France of the phone charging grandmother, or charging grandmother, because what she does is she opens up her garage in her home in near Calais in France, or well, I think it's in Calais actually, just on the edge, and she opens up her garage to migrants from Africa and the Middle East who are on the last leg of their journey, about to try to get to the UK, and she opens up her garage to them. I don't know if she opens up her whole home. It just seems from the TV report, it seemed like it was just the garage. So maybe her home is actually locked. And she has migrants in her garage, and she offers a phone charging facility. Obviously, their phones are really important, like they are to nearly everybody nowadays. And she's got multiple charging points, and she offers this charging service. Gets on very well with these migrants who are mainly young men, and yeah, she seems very friendly. She's been doing this for quite a while now, and this is how she's got the nickname of grandmother charge, or grandmother phone charging, Mamie Charge. So not only does she charge their phones in her garage and makes friends with them, and all seems very cordial, but also offers a hot meal, help yourself, each day in the garage. And in the report, she seemed to have about, I don't know, five, six, seven of them in her garage. I don't know how many she sees each day, and she has a limit, but they generally seem very grateful, and she speaks a bit of English as well. I can see from the TV report, and many people, opinion is divided. Many people see her as having real Christian values, humanitarian, and really charitable, and she genuinely seems to. As I said, she's retired, sort of late 60s. She genuinely feels cut up and really touched by what they're going through, the journeys they've made, and how they're trying now to get across the channel to England. As I said, opinion is divided. If you look at the comments on the YouTube video of this TV show from TF1, actually, which is the biggest TV channel in France, from the news on TF1. Opinions are divided. Some people saying, very humanitarian, what a wonderful lady, very Christian, what a character, what she does for the migrant, virtually all, young men before they come to the UK. Other people, though, I'd say the other 50%, it's very polarizing as always, as things are now, very polarized. The other 50% saying, condemning her, saying, I've had enough of these lefties. Would she do the same thing for a French homeless person? Would she help out French people in need the same way that she would a migrant? Because there is this perception, isn't there, amongst people sort of, I don't know, further towards the right, or even far right, as we often say, that a lot of people seem to have more compassion, more time for, more empathy with, and are more charitable towards people from outside their own country, towards migrants, towards people from other places, than they would be, or than they are towards people suffering or people in need in their own native country. And there's certainly this does sound a bit sensationalistic and a bit cliche, but I do believe there are people, not sure how they've got like that, who do, in my opinion, seem to have, for some reason, I don't know how this has happened, more compassion, more empathy, more time and generosity for people from outside of their country or from people abroad. Definitely more interest in them or more time for them than they do for people in need, people suffering in their own population, in their own native country. So that is, in my opinion, really shocking. And it's definitely true for some people. But how do people get like that? Why? Surely you would at least have an equal amount of compassion for people in, your native country or the country you live in than what you would for people coming from abroad or from outside of your country. So surely at least it would be balanced, 50-50. But there are some people who seem to have more compassion for people from abroad or people of other nationalities, other races. So back to this lady, this I think she was 68, the 68-year-old lady in Calais in France, French lady. This is the accusation that was thrown at her by, I'd say, 50% of the people commenting, French people commenting on the YouTube video. This accusation that she's a lefty, that she's all for foreigners, that she's, supporting corruption, supporting these people who are illegal and trying to get to the UK illegally. And, does she have the same care for French people that are suffering, homeless people, French people on the edge in difficult situations, of which there are many now. France is on its knees economically. There's many French people going through rough times. And, the UK at the moment, not much better. So yeah, this accusation is thrown at her, calling her a lefty, saying she's awful and they're sick of it, and and why doesn't she think about the French, and why is she supporting this illegal activity, which many view as hugely corrupt. What's going on, not being stopped, not being clamped down on, despite what many politicians say they want to do or they're going to do. So yeah, opinion very divided, 50-50. I don't know her. I haven't seen her interviewed. I don't know what her politics are. I don't know what she would say to those criticisms, how she would respond. I don't actually know. I don't know her background, what she does do, and what she does think about issues in French society, French people, whether she would be as compassionate towards French people or not. I don't know. So without hearing more from her, hearing more about her politics and her ideas, I wouldn't be able to say. But for you, is she a heroine? Well, heroine's a strong word. Is she somebody to be commended for what she does for these migrants? Opening up her garage in her home in Calais for them before they try to cross to the UK or before they come to the UK. Charging their phones for them, offering them a hot meal. I think it's every day. Is she a heroine? Is she doing a wonderful thing? Or for you, is she annoying to you? Is she doing something that she shouldn't be doing? Is it wrong? Is it a kind of, for you, is it kind of a sort of misplaced kindness and generosity? Is she supporting this corrupt, illegal flow of people, endless flow, swathes of people coming across from various parts of Africa and the Middle East, across Europe, across France, and of course, for the last part of their journey, coming to the UK? Is she just being humane to people who are victims, people who are suffering? Because whatever you think, whether you're on the left or the right or the far left or the far right, you can't deny that they've suffered. You can't deny that most of them are, ordinary human beings. I mean, I do feel sorry for them. I'm kind of mixed, because I do feel sorry for them, and they are victims and they are suffering, and most of them are just everyday human beings. A lot of them they're not bad in any way at all. They're just a mixture of human beings like you would get in your own country. But at the same time, many of you will know, I think they shouldn't be. Most of them shouldn't be coming. It shouldn't be happening, and most of them, in my view, should be sent back. And it's horrific what's going on. Horrifically corrupt, endless chaos, in my view. Shouldn't be happening. They shouldn't be coming over to the UK. They shouldn't even be, it's illegal. It's chaos, and it's not helping the countries they're coming from. It's not doing anything about the issues they're coming in the countries they're coming from. It's not helping, just to have endless amounts of people all leaving those parts of the world and coming to, say, for example, Britain, France, and Germany. And it's not fair or humane, in my view, towards the people that are already here, native British people or people already living here. It's not fair on them. It's not humane towards them. What about their rights? What about their opinions? So yeah, for me, I don't know the lady, I don't know her opinions, I don't know her politics, but for me, I was irritated by her because, I don't know, for me, yes, of course, one feels normal human empathy and compassion for people in those situations, but is she kind of supporting this illegal flow? In my view, very, very corrupt. Should she be prioritizing French people in need, of which there are many now? France is on its knees economically. We're not much better at the moment, are we? Let's face it. Not being negative, because I'm always an optimist. Just believe we're going through a very dark time at the moment, politically, economically, and so on. But yeah, I mean, opinion was very divided. Should she be prioritizing her own people? If she doesn't do as much for her own French people as she does for people coming from Africa and the Middle East, various places, trying to get to the UK, does that make her morally deficient in some way? Should we question that? Should we be annoyed about that? Or is she just being neutral and humane and just feeling for these people? If people like her were not doing what they were doing, would it would it help to curb this endless flow? Would it stop it from, if people, well-meaning, humane people were to withdraw that generosity and kindness, and if people like her weren't doing what they're doing, and of course if we weren't so generous and accommodating in this country, would that curtail and slow down? Would it prevent a lot of the people from coming? By being the way she's being, is she making the situation worse? Is grandmother phone charger making the situation worse? Is she endorsing and promoting what is, let's face it, chaotic swathes of people? In my view, it's not humane to have all these people coming to the UK. This is not humane. It's quite the opposite, in my view. So I'd be interested to hear what her political opinions are, and how she does feel about her own people, as opposed to people from other parts of the world trying to get to the UK. So yeah, I think that's long enough now for this video. I think you've got the message. But yeah, just to conclude, it's interesting to note, no angel by any stretch of the imagination, but the godfather of the far right in France. I use the term far right very loosely because it's an ambiguous and often abused term now. The godfather of the far right in France, of course, 96 years old, Jean-Marie Le Pen, has just passed on. And he has been, his death, his passing has been actually celebrated, with partying in the street by a lot of people that have been labelled far left. they've been celebrating in the street the death of, you might say, the godfather of the far right in France, viewed by many as racist, very racist, certainly in the past anyway. His daughter, of course, Marine Le Pen, is very close to power, or her party are very close to power in France now. But his daughter said, she was appalled by a lot of these celebrations in the street by people, mainly labelled far left, maybe some further towards the centre, I don't know. She was appalled by these celebrations of her father's death. Obviously, many people view him as a very bad man, and so good riddance, they might say. But she said the celebrating of her father's death in the street, Jean-Marie Le Pen's death in the street, amounts to, is in keeping with what she said is the increasingly savage and cruel, increasingly violent, nasty nature of a lot of French society now. She said, the brutalization, as they call it over there, of French society, which is, France has become more and more unsafe, more and more violent crime, which many people inherently link with, chaotic, unmanaged migration, immigration policy. But she said this celebrating her father's death in the street, or celebrating anybody's death in the street, is very bad taste, and she feels that it's another symptom of the, brutalization, if you like, the increasing, nastiness, violent nature of French society. But that's how she views it. What do you think? Yeah, okay, so we're up to 17 minutes. So let's have heated debate as always, but as always, let's keep it civilized and classy. Thank you very much for watching.